walk with a zombie, zombie, zombie. I walk with a zombie, zombie, zombie. I walk with a zombie. Hey guys, welcome to GhoulFiends. I'm Joseph.
I'm Angela.
We are doing our first review ever on the movie Husk. It was a sci-fi movie that came out in the summer, I believe, of 2010. It just got released recently on DVD on March 28th, I believe. Is that what we said? March 28th. So we gave it our first run through. I only caught bits and pieces of it the first time on SyFy. I didn't really get to watch the whole thing from start to end, so DVD came out, we ordered it on Netflix and gave it a thought. First impressions, Angel?
I thought it was good. It had a lot of original things with the scarecrow idea.
Yeah, the story basically evolves around your typical teenagers, I suppose. We don't know where they're going. I think they're going to camp. Is that what they said? I think that's it. I don't know. You don't really know why.
I'm not sure
where or where they're going, but they're on some backcountry road, going through some cornfields, and all of a sudden, a murder of crows hit the windshield. Car crashes. Of course, your very typical cliche: no cell phone, no cars anywhere nearby. The gas station, I think, is 50 miles away. Something. It's ridiculous, but it's terribly cliche. Basically, they see a house in the distance. They're going to run through the cornfield, hopefully find someone in this abandoned house that can help them. All of a sudden, people become missing. You're believed that it's scarecrows that live in the cornfields, per se, and that are basically killing them.
Yep.
The story and the plot are very original. It kind of reminds me of Jeepers Creepers in a way.
A little bit, yeah. It does have that feel to it.
Definitely has that Jeepers Creepers, scarecrow kills the kids on the school bus. Same kind of feel.
Has a good Halloween feel to it.
Definitely a good Halloween atmosphere.
The scenery is pretty good.
Definitely very good. To say it's cliche with your typical teenagers and what happens is an understatement. You know what's going to happen pretty much all the way through. But we basically come to find out that it's not really the scarecrows, it's a spirit
inhabiting the scarecrows.
Or a demon, something of that sort that only can live in the scarecrows. And there's an abundance of scarecrows in this cornfield, and it can move from one scarecrow to the other, but it can only be in one scarecrow at a time.
Yes.
And of course, they need more scarecrows, so the kids wreck. They kills the kids, make them go into this. Was it a farmhouse?
It's a farmhouse.
A farmhouse. He goes upstairs. They make this. What is that material that they're made out of?
Like burlap.
Burlap, that's the word. A burlap mask that looked like a scarecrow to get more people. You come to find out the story is there was a teenager there who killed his brother.
In the cornfield.
In the cornfield, and that's where that story gets terribly confusing. I don't know what you thought. I didn't know if the demon spirit or whatever this entity is that moves from scarecrow to scarecrow was the brother who killed the other brother, or if it was...
Well, the brother killed the brother in the cornfield, then hid his body in the scarecrow costume and hung him up in the cornfield so no one would find the body. So nobody knows if it's the brother who killed the brother and put him in the scarecrow costume that's the spirit inhabiting, or the one that was put in the costume that was inhabiting all the bodies.
And another point that we both said is they want you to believe, and there's cars, old abandoned cars in this.
That it's happened for years and years.
This happened 40, 50, 60 years ago.
All the scarecrows come from. Every so often people wreck and they take them from the cars.
Because there's other abandoned cars that have wrecked that are in the scarecrow that they eventually stumble across. I don't understand the point of why it had to be a period timepiece saying it happened 40 or 50 years ago. I think it could happen last week in the spirit, because but for the movie's sake, I mean,
I think it makes it so that there's when they first show up in the cornfield, there's a bunch of scarecrows. So they had to give a timeline, I'm assuming, of that it's been years that the scarecrow has been killing, so it has multiple bodies.
True, but your typical horror movie, the farmhouse doesn't have electricity. There's an abundance of cars that are scattered about.
Yes.
Nobody can find keys. The one truck they do find, they pull the cover off. You said it bothered you was the spider webs.
Spider webs were very fake, very stringy.
And the other car, they pulled off the cover, and it looked like a brand new car. And I'm thinking they've trying to age this, trying to say it happened 40 or 50 years ago, and that was just a sheet laying on the car. I'm thinking that sheet's going to be gone, ripped off, tornado.
The car would have been in much worse shape, even with a cover on it.
It looked like it just came out of off the parking lot of a car.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's an older model.
Definitely an older model. But like we said, the plot is fantastic.
Yes, it is a good idea.
The acting is actually
It's very good.
I mean, if this for being an original sci-fi movie, I mean, sci-fi brings us every big-budget, crappy, computerized monster that
every
there is.
Every bit of cheesiness that is possible.
But that's why we love it. But
yeah.
Nonetheless, this actually was produced very well.
Yes, it was done very well and as more realistic as it could be.
Edited was fantastic. The acting was great. The atmosphere is really kind of spooky and creepy. Good. Except for the one part we talked about was when they're upstairs in the farmhouse, they used this old sewing machine to make the mask for the scarecrows. You can almost see the spotlight from outside. Like
the lighting was horrible. They showed many scenes of a sliver moon that was out that night. But then when they would walk through certain parts of the house with no electricity, the middle of the night, it was so bright. But then when they would pull their lighter out of their pocket to have light, the lights were gone from the window. I
mean, the shadows on the ground looked like it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 5. Like these long casting shadows.
And it was like a rounded shadow of a light.
And they kept showing the moon as if it was a crevice. And I don't know where we live at a crevice of the moon. It's still pretty dark out.
Yes.
They almost needed suntan lotion. It was kind of that bright out. It was kind of ridiculous.
Yes.
So the lighting was bad. The lighting was terrible. Acting was great. The special effects
were good.
Were really good. The makeup, we both said.
Yeah, the makeup was really done well. The scarecrow masks, they were creepy. They had a good creepy feel to them.
And they called them the smiley mask. We kind of watched some of the special features.
Yeah.
And they called it smiley mask because the actual scarecrow itself has this
a big smile.
Kind of remind me of the movie Trick or Treat.
It does remind me.
That little boy kind of has that same creepy, or almost like Jack from Nightmare Before Christmas, kind of a creepy kind of a smile. But overall, I mean, it was very good. To say it was gory, we have to remember, like we said before, this was on SyFy originally. SyFy can only get but so gory, I'm thinking. And it really wasn't gory.
No, not at all.
There were a couple little scares.
There were good blood scenes and stuff, but...
Yeah, there's some good blood scenes.
Jump out scenes, but...
Yeah, it's your typical, we said this was...
like slasher movie.
Yeah, this was horror movie 101. The music got real loud, and then you knew something was coming.
Yes.
But, I mean, it worked for this movie. I mean, I think this was Brett's first horror movie.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure of that one, but he wrote this and directed it. It was good. It was really good. Definitely recommend it. We have it playing in the background, just the cutscene, the root menu. Definitely recommend it. Special features, it was behind the scenes. It was kind of cool. It's
typical behind the scenes. Like, you see some of the fighting scenes, and they do some of the special effects and the makeup, show you some of that, but...
No big name actors or actresses. No. Not anybody that I recognized from this movie whatsoever. But overall, a really good movie.
Yeah.
Very well done. Just a very basic horror movie 101.
Very basic slasher movie, but it had a good creepy feel to it. It's like a fun movie to just watch when you want to be a little creeped out, but you don't really have to pay attention too much.
Yeah, it's not psychological thriller, twisted story. There's not really much of a background plot. You don't really know why anyone's going anywhere. You don't really know. We've talked about this before. Like, why is the Scarecrow killing everybody?
They never give you a reason or a backstory of why he's killing people. We just see that the brother kills the other brother and puts him in the Scarecrow costume, but then you see nothing else after that as a backstory. So you don't know anything. There's so many why. Why did this happen? Why did that happen?
And where's the movie? Like, you don't know where the movie's going. Like, it's just he's collecting all the Scarecrows to keep switching from one body to another. It's not like he's trying to free his soul.
Yeah.
One thing that the Scarecrows can't leave the cornfield. So they're obviously not trying to leave the cornfield, which I don't understand why they can't. They say they can't leave the cornfield, but yet they can go into the house, which obviously isn't a cornfield, and use a sewing machine can turn on the lights.
I think it's
and electricity.
Once the Scarecrow mask is on and they walk into the cornfield, then they can't pass that barrier of the cornfield. And then once the mask is removed, they're no longer able to be used as a Scarecrow.
Again,
don't know why.
Don't know why.
It's just.
But overall, definitely, it's a good movie. It's definitely a good movie to watch. Yeah, I think that's about it for this one. Next week we are going to watch the movie Prowl. I believe it's another After Dark movie, the same studio house that brought Husk.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Prowl. You don't either?
Me either.
Okay. Well, come here next week and check out Prowl. See ya. Bye.